Show. Robert Price. Tom Malloy. Rich Lopez.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the PML Show. It's the PML crew, as always. El Jefe, Jefe the Don, Rich Lopez, Homeboy Malloy.
What up?
What? Oh, what's up, man? Nothing, my bad. I didn't finish my introduction, dude. Robert Price, always with us, and Steve, the producer. I think because you said you had no shame in your smoking game, I might call you Smoking Steve, the producer. Does that sound okay for right now?
That sounds fine with me, buddy.
All right, good. Hope everybody had a good week. We know we had Fastlane this past weekend. If you guys are sports fans, we had March Madness, which I ain't gonna lie, man. That's the only time I'll probably choose a sport over wrestling. Like, not even paying attention to wrestling. Like, that's the sport for me. It's March Madness. So that was me all weekend. Honestly, hope you guys obviously got to enjoy sports, wrestling, or whatever else you guys are into. But I got to see Malloy's finished basement, looking good. 3 weekends in a row, dude. Is it 3 weekends in a row?
Yeah.
Man, we're coming.
Fourth.
We're coming around.
This weekend's gonna be tough for you.
Yeah, it's gonna be probably a little tough for me because baby's not here yet, man. And I mean, my luck, I got the ringer on. So if Christine's watching, I got my cell phone ringer on. If that water breaks, call your boy up. I'll be ending the show a little early, or maybe Steve and Homeboy can take it home for the full hour. But other than that, yeah, the baby's not here yet, so it's probably gonna be. We have an appointment tomorrow. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I got to see your basement 3 weekends in a row, man. It's like the old times coming back together.
Yeah.
Had some drinks. Got to see it. Looks nice. What are you sipping on today, man, for the show?
Dude, I'm sipping on a little Daily Planet by Springhouse Brewery out of Harrisburg, I believe that is.
I like that. I like that can.
That's what attracted me to get it, man. It's I'm all about the
Don't come off shallow right now. Don't come off shallow.
No, I'm all about the design of the can anymore. Like, I just, like, if the can looks cool, I'm just like, I'm gonna try that.
Well, that's shallow. You're going off the appearance. That's what I'm saying. You're shallow.
Yeah, but the taste, whew.
Oh, okay.
Good
all
appearance
right.
and taste.
The inside.
I haven't had any bad ones yet, so but I only stick to one style. So it's like, you know what you like, so you know you're gonna like it anyways. So
I got you.
Like, there's hazy IPAs and there's a bunch of other ones, but the hazies are the best one because it's not the overpowering hop taste. It's like just a good beer.
Okay, all right. I thought you had one too many right there, the way you stared at me. But
no, I had 3 sips, so hopefully that doesn't do me in.
Me neither. Steve, you sipping on anything?
Milking a Malibu and Coke this evening.
There we go. I like that. I'm sipping on a little RC vodka and a little cherry juice, making a little cherry Coke mix, I guess. I don't know what you want to call it, but I always just put some sort of concoction together. I also didn't put nearly as much in because that water breaks, dude. I can't be drinking and driving like after like the usual glasses that I usually have. So you got to be safe. But so we're gonna talk about this week. We're not gonna go into it right now, but later in the show. We actually been wanting to talk about it last week, but Killian was such a great guest. We kept him on longer than usual that we do with the guests. We had a great discussion with that. If you guys didn't watch it, go on our YouTube page, check it out, or go on Spotify and check it out. It was last week's show, the 316 show, with Killian McMurphy. But we are going to talk about WrestleMania 4 because we did watch it. We want to rebook it, review it, all that kind of stuff. But I guess for right now, we'll just talk about maybe some of the storylines because of last week we didn't really touch up on any of the WrestleMania dealing. So I think the last time we talked about it, which was 2 weeks ago, we saw at least I read a report that Vince just wanted to change everything. I don't know what you kind of read up on that at all, Malloy, but obviously Fastlane happened on Saturday, and so we're starting to get a little bit of clarity on what's going on. So before Fastlane, the only 2 matches that were kind of definite were Reigns and Edge. They were the definite because Edge was the Rumble winner, and then we also had Sasha and Bianca because Bianca was the Women's Rumble winner. So those are kind of the 2 solid matches that you were going to see on night 1 or night 2. After Fastlane, sorry, that was a phone call, but not Christine. Terrible news. No, but anyway, so after Fastlane, you kind of get a little bit more. You definitely get clarity on some other matches. Like you're going to have Bad Bunny and Miz coming up, and then you also have I'm trying to think of the other one. Asuka and Rhea Ripley. But now this, I feel like, and then Sasha Bianca stays the same, but you're kind of getting that triple threat mode-ish because you don't know what they're going to do with Daniel Bryan. So Edge and Reigns are definitely going to be in the main event match. We just don't know if it's one-on-one or a triple threat match. What are your thoughts?
I honestly hope it's a triple threat match because Edge planted to see that it could be a three-way dance because, he slapped both of them with a chair.
Yeah.
I would like to see like the old WCW style, like three-way matches, like where a person gets eliminated.
Mm-hmm. I think they used to call them, what they call triangle matches, maybe?
Yeah, something like that. I think that'd be a cool concept because I think it gets Daniel Bryan on the card.
Mhm.
And honestly, you get to see, Edge versus two great opponents. And I think that'd be a really good wrestling show.
I completely agree. And I think it's also a way. I think they're trying to make Edge a tweener because I think he's obviously a legend right now, but he's always been a better heel, right? You know what I mean? So, like, I think he doesn't want to go full-fledged heel because that kind of splits the fans with Reigns, who I think is, like, the best heel right now going. So you kind of don't want to touch that. And then obviously you don't want Edge a full-blown face because that's just not what he's 100% good at for a storyline. But everybody knows, like, Daniel Bryan's, like, the best face probably in the last 10 years outside of Cena, right? So, like, the last 10 years it's been Bryan. So I think it's just an easy way to have Edge the tweener. You have a solid face, and then you have a solid heel. So I definitely think – I do agree with you, too. That's actually a good concept. I think when it comes to, like, main event matches, because I'm not really a big fan – it's weird. Like, I think when I book, I like to do triple threat matches or, like, fatal four-ways. But I'm such, like, a boxing and UFC guy. Like, you never, ever would see that, right? So, like, in a high-profile fight, it's always one-on-one. So, like, part of me always wants that one-on-one match, but if you do an elimination way, it obviously ends up going into a one-on-one. So that's a good way to save it. So I kind of like that logic that you had.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool, too, like, to see that, like, Reigns gets out some way, keeps him looking strong, and Daniel Bryan versus Edge. Edge gets the pinfall, Edge gets the victory.
Oh, you don't have Reigns as the final two.
No, I think it would be super cool to see Reigns get out quickly, and then it can just keep building the story for all three parties.
That's cool, man. I like that logic a lot. That's kind of cool. The other match that I'm kind of shocked with is obviously Charlotte got COVID. I'm assuming you wouldn't want to joke with that, but obviously before she announced that she got COVID, there was a lot of reports that she kind of was like not on the way out of WWE, but just not happy in WWE because of what the Andrade release, which sucks for me because I'm such a fan of Andrade. I thought he deserved better. Unfortunately, we'll see what happens with that, but I think they just kind of substituted Charlotte with Rhea, and now you have Asuka Rhea. Do you think Rhea becomes champion at Mania? Because I feel like they're going to push her to the moon like they would with Charlotte.
Yeah, I think so too. Because even like, there's a lot of comparisons between her and Charlotte, and I think she's the best woman wrestler that's not on the main card right now. So I think that'd be cool to see. And I think she also has like that Japan style of wrestling, very hard hitting, strong style. So I think that'd be cool to see.
Definitely. Then what do you think about Bad Bunny, man? I
feel bad for the Miz. He always gets like the last end of the stick for Mania. Like, it's cool, I guess. Like Bad Bunny, I guess, isn't he like a top artist like everywhere?
He's a top Latino artist, but he's obviously crossed over to the U.S. like mainstream role. Yeah. So it's weird because like
that's like having like Pentagon like 5 years ago being a main event match at Mania. Like no one knew who Pentagon was then.
Yeah. It is hard because like Bad Bunny's a kind of like a generation or two behind us. I guess a generation behind us, so I don't really follow too much of them. Obviously WrestleMania is obviously like they're notorious with a celebrity role. Lawrence Taylor, Floyd Mayweather, Mr. T, Pete Rose. I mean, obviously Pete Rose wasn't in a match, but like he was in like very, very famous parts of WrestleMania cards. You know what I mean? So like to me, it's like I get it. You want that celebrity role because it also brings a little bit of like a mass appeal from another, from the music industry. I get it, but it's just like I feel like you can go bigger if that makes any sense. Yeah. Like to me, like Mr. T in the '80s was a huge one. That's why it worked. To me, Lawrence Taylor, and it also could be maybe the placement on the card. Like to me, LT didn't work. Maybe, like I said, maybe if it was on the second match of the night or the third match of the night, it might have worked. But to me, it didn't. Floyd Mayweather to me worked because he was like one of the most popular athletes at that time, and he was co-main event. Mike Tyson's another one. I just thought about that. Mike Tyson was another one, main event, but he obviously didn't wrestle. So I mean, I guess depending on the placement of the card, I'll be okay with this. I don't expect it to be like a co-main event match, if that makes any sense.
No.
Like I think it would be like I think Fiend Orton would be a co-main event match. The women's championship title match would be main match, and then obviously the two main titles would be a main match. So yeah, I mean, I guess you know what, with the placement of it, I can't see it being too far down on the card. So I guess it would be okay.
It'll still be considered a featured match, but
there you go.
Do you think too it's just because like so if you look back and you put yourself at being 20 years old and I put myself at being 18 years old, do you think we'd be more in touch with like this guy, this genre of music?
Yeah.
Because I feel like Latin music is starting to take over a little bit more in the U.S. and you're starting to hear it more. Obviously, there's a increasing trend of Latin people coming to America. So I mean, it's just like when polkas were popular back in like the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, like stuff like that. So it's like, and then people like in the 70s are like, I'm not listening to that. That sucks.
I was just say I can't believe you just brought up polka, but I understand where you're going now.
But no, it's just
I'm going in now.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's a
rock
cultural thing, and it's like something like we don't get because we obviously didn't grow up with
I mean, I know of him because he's on like celebrity basketball games and all that kind of stuff. So
but you're also a hip hop, like you're into hip hop more than I am. Like I like
true.
I'll listen to 80s and 90s hip hop.
Yeah, but not now.
Like and then like Eminem, and then you like when we were in college, you knew everything. So, I mean, you and John were always up on that stuff. So maybe if it was, is
you see
John?
The Yankee hat, dude. You see the Yankee hat?
Yeah, Jay-Z,
no,
baby.
Actually, I have to go backwards.
Does John know like Bad Bunny? Because I know he's like a big rap guy. Like
I haven't talked to him. I haven't talked to him like a week, but actually, no, I talked to him a couple days ago. But I mean, not about Bad Bunny per se.
I'm gonna ask him in the group text later. Be like, hey, do you know what Bad Bunny is?
I think a lot of people. I mean, like I said, he is crossing over. So I just don't like. To me, on the music card, like I compare him to LT. So, but like I said, LT might have been received for me a little bit more if he wasn't the actual main event. So, like if LT was the third match at WrestleMania 11, all right, that's cool because I get it. Like at that time he was like a B list, maybe a C list football notoriety because he was already retired. Now, when he was playing, obviously he was like one of the best ever. But when you go into that wrestling genre in the mid 90s, I'm sure not many people knew of Lawrence Taylor. And to me, that's the same thing with Bad Bunny. I could be wrong because maybe I'm just a little bit older. You know what I mean? But like to me, like when Mike Tyson came in 98, he was literally in the peak of his popularity still, and it made sense. When Floyd Mayweather went to the WWE, peak of his popularity, so it made sense. I just feel like Bad Bunny's not at the peak. I think maybe the peak for him was maybe like a year ago, 2 years ago. Again, could be wrong. I also know that they want to reach out to that Latino market because, let's face it, they're really dropping the ball with Rey. I don't know why. I mean, when all else fails, you can go to Rey Mysterio, but I think they're trying to find something new than the typical Rey Mysterio marketing. So I guess that's kind of cool. But
his T-shirts are really over, man. That guy's selling a lot of T-shirts.
What did you say?
Bad Bunny selling a lot of T-shirts.
That's the thing too. Yeah. So like maybe it's just I just don't know how popular he actually is. But I just feel like when it comes to the music industry, there might be somebody a little bit more popular. But
and then like to kind of go off of what you were saying though too, like you mentioned Lawrence Taylor, you mentioned Mike Tyson, you mentioned Floyd Mayweather. They're all fighters, they're all athletes. You know, you're talking to a guy like. So, am I supposed to believe a rapper is gonna beat up The Miz, who is decorated world champion?
Well, was this actually a champion like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, who's literally the world champion. And
that's true too. Yeah, that's logical.
If he gets jobbed, that's Bad Bunny. I just be like, yo, I'm done. I'll keep my reality show.
Oh no, I think he'll take it, dude. I think like it's the Miz. I think he knows what he's just there for now. Like he's there to be just a solid role. Like, all right, I'll be the mid card champion. Cool, I'll do that and just take over. Are you going to be, in a featured role like this with Bad Bunny at Mania? First time there's going to be a crowd there? Yeah, I'll do it. I have a attractive wife. I got a man. It's like what Bobby Lashley said in that interview. He's like, how do you hate The Miz? He has a hot wife. He has a $6 million house. He's been a 2-time Grand Slam champ. How do you hate this guy?
And he's been getting a paycheck by just being famous for the last 20 years.
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess Lashley's kind of right with that. And I think the Miz just obviously just loves the business, so he'll do whatever whatever is best for business per se. What do you think about the Fiend's return? Because obviously I think that actually just got confirmed with Orton. So you have the Fiend honestly going with two legit back-to-back matches. Whether he wins or loses, is obviously going to be a different story. But you're going up with Cena at 36. And then you're gonna have Orton right now at 37. You cannot beat that,
dude. Bray Wyatt total for Manias is pretty perfect in my opinion. He has a lot going on with. Hold on. He is. Why am I getting back? Can you hear like?
I can hear you.
All right, it's good.
Yeah, you sound good, man.
All right, cool. So I mean, back-to-back Manias. He's been in there with The Rock. He's been in there with Undertaker. He's been in there with Orton. He's been in there with Cena. So, honestly, he might have never had a main event match. However, his WrestleMania card isn't too bad. Like, he's had 4 times over where you could have then, like, for me, if I was my WrestleMania moment, okay, cool. Like, I'm done. Yeah. Like, I'm done, but, like, I could live with that being my moment.
That's a good resume. It's a really good WrestleMania resume.
So, Bray, I think, is going to have a lot of... I think he's just a guy who just doesn't need the title. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what everybody always says, like, oh, like, Bray should have the title. And it's like, I get it because it's a really strong gimmick. But now, granted, I'm going to make this comparison. But at the time, like, it was just really shitty booking. So, but, like, Undertaker didn't need a title. Like, when he first won it, it was just for shock factor. But then when he obviously comes out with the belt, and, like, yeah, he's dragging it and it sounds kind of cool. Or it looks kind of cool. But at the same time, like that gimmick was so strong, he didn't need the belt. I think that's the same exact way with the Fiend. So, like, I hope he doesn't really ever get the title, but the way that they're building him up right now. Because, like, right now he's just too dominant. And I think you always need a champion that, yes, could be dominant, but also is vulnerable at some point. And I feel like the Fiend's never like that. Yes, exactly.
Roman, Drew.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's, like, those two guys. Well, I feel like Drew's here, Roman's here, and then Bray's here.
Right. I don't think Bray's there, but I also think it's because of the amount of months off.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big Bray Wyatt fan. I'd rather him as Bray Wyatt over the Fiend. Just based on look and based on the way they build him, I think it's just too dominant. But I will say I do like the original Fiend outfit more than this one.
Well, it's melted, dude. He was on fire.
Well, I know he was on fire, but like Orton was on fire, and he made like he's normal now. Like by the last time Bray was set on fire was December. Wouldn't he be back right now? Wouldn't he be good? Like, wouldn't you look like that like 2 weeks after? You wouldn't look like that now.
Well, maybe he wasn't working. He couldn't get a new suit.
Maybe. You're right. I mean, you're right. I mean, if we're gonna be real here about this, we can't be kayfabing this shit. You know what I mean? Maybe you're right. Maybe all he had was that working gear from TLC. You're right. My bad. What do you think about the Alexa Bliss pin?
Loved it. I loved how Randy Orton's wife posted about it afterwards.
Yeah.
I hope she gets involved in some way.
Oh, she would love that, dude. She's a wrestling fan.
Yeah.
She would definitely love that.
Because that's why I don't think that was real. Like, that's not heat. Like, it's not real life heat. She knows what it's all about.
Yeah, she understands. She likes the popular. I think she's a wife that likes the popularity.
Literally, like, they can make a TV show based upon, like, her and a couple other wives. It's just like, what is it, Basketball Wives?
Yeah, like how Loving. Yeah, Basketball Wives is one of them. Yeah,
like Pro Wrestling Wives. They could do that with her.
Pro Wrestling Wives.
Kurt Angle's wife. Like,
well, they did a table for 3.
Yeah,
and I know it was it Angle? I think it was Karen Jarrett. I forgot she's not Angle's wife anymore. Was it, or was it Kurt Angle's wife?
No, it was Kurt Angle's new wife.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Because I think he's married to. I think she's a Hispanic woman, right?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
And then there's
more of the
too.
Huh?
Then there was Matt Hardy's wife was there too.
Yeah, Reba Sky or whatever, Reba Hardy.
Yeah, and she's like a Snooki character in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But that would actually be kind of a good show. I'm surprised I never thought about that. A Pro Wrestling Wives or Ring Wives or something like that. I don't know.
Rats.
No, don't be calling them rats, dude. First of all, it's in the 80s. Second of all, they're obviously not rats. They're wives. But that's kind of funny. We should have asked Moran. We should have asked Moran and what'd you say?
Make a whole series called Ring Rats. Put it on HBO out on Saturday nights.
I'm surprised there actually hasn't been a show around like that. I mean, I know there's Glow, but I mean that's obviously not rat related. But
Not at
like,
all.
yeah, that's funny. We should have asked Moran and Killian for about rats just as a little gig.
We'll ask on the next guest.
Yeah, next guest we will definitely ask. Um, so that kind of wraps up like the WrestleMania build so far. I'm assuming we're gonna get a mid card title or two in there, the tag titles. Oh, we have New Day in against Amos and AJ.
Styles.
You excited for that? Because it reminds me actually similar to what they did with Dolph and Big E.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with it. I think this year is going to be more of a year for some of the other guys to get some, good singles matches. I think Strowman and Shane McMahon's going to be a good match. I think Cesaro and Seth Rollins is going to be a show-stealing match. So AJ might have to take a year off and not get he had three
Good.
back-to-back Mania matches. So
Yeah, good matches. Yeah,
what's 1 year? I mean, and it could still end up being a really good match.
exactly. Yeah, the thing that I will say, like I remember last year when it was going on, I was a little like scared because I felt like WrestleMania is like one big night event where you hang out. But I will say the two nighters, the way they place the cards, and it looks like this year there's a little bit more, there's better builds going into it. I mean, I know we're still like 2.5 weeks away.
Yeah.
But like every match might actually have some importance, and obviously that means every match will have adequate time, which is always good. So I can't wait to see what happens there. So that like you said, like AJ's not on a featured one-on-one match, but I think he might be on a featured tag team match, which is just as cool. So
Yeah, and also too, I wonder where do you see Kevin Owens being on the card? 'Cause he's
I don't know.
never
I'm thinking that they're gonna do Sami Zayn versus Owens, the way they're building it right now.
Hey,
I'm
they did it a
trying to
bunch
wonder
of
where
times, and they never
Shinsuke's
did it
going.
before. So
What'd you say?
they never did it before at Mania, and they wrestled a bunch
No.
of other times. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, I mean that's a rivalry. That's like a mid card rivalry, like a Dolph or a Kofi or like a Miz and Dolph that you could just honestly do. No matter how many times you do it, they're gonna have good matches. No matter what, it could be for a non title match or a mid card title match. It's just gonna be a good chemistry, good rivalry, just a good match. And the only one I'm interested to see because I think it, like you said, Cesaro, Seth. They're gonna have Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Daniel Bryan might be tossing that triple threat match. I'm trying to figure out where Oh, it might be Big E and Apollo. I'm trying to figure out where you're gonna do with Shinsuke. Maybe you throw them into one of the matches to make it a triple threat, or you put them in the IC title. Because I know that Apollo Big E match kind of ended weirdly. So like I don't know what you do with that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of issue too where it's like, do you have a multi-man match for one of the titles? Like,
I hope not. I just hate the way you can't build that up in 17 days.
no.
That's the thing I hated about that ladder match at 31, the one that Daniel Bryan won the IC title. Like the whole match was because somebody kept stealing the title for 2 weeks. I'm like, that's not really a build, you know what I mean? So like, I hope they don't do that. I know that's like an easy way out. I hate that, but and I feel like you don't even need to do that now because there's 2 nights. Back then, the only excuse was, "Oh, we need people on the card." You know what I mean? So like, hopefully that doesn't happen. Where do you think Riddle goes?
Riddle's on a roll, man. Like I could see him having the future's open. He could be against anybody. Maybe he'll wrestle Goldberg.
No.
Dude, he's been calling out Goldberg and Lesnar for years.
Well, Lesnar already said he ain't working with him.
Yeah, I know.
So you can take that to the bank. Because if Lesnar doesn't want to work with him, he's not going to work with him. Goldberg, I mean, that'd be kind of cool if you want to put him in a title match. I'll definitely take a U.S. title match, but I don't see that working either.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of people obviously on both rosters. The rosters are currently pretty stacked, so
yeah.
He has a lot of chances. I could see Keith Lee coming back maybe for Mania.
Keith Lee or Sheamus, maybe. I just thought about that. Sheamus has nothing to do right now.
Dude, Sheamus had a brutal match with Drew McIntyre. That was probably match of the night.
Yeah, it was a good match. It was definitely a good match.
Yeah.
I just meant like since I think Drew won, that puts Sheamus like not in the title picture, obviously. So next best thing would be the U.S. title. And it's a credible opponent for Riddle.
Except for Sheamus had a match against Bobby Lashley last night on Raw.
Yeah, true. That you're right.
So, but he lost to him too, so I think that just takes him out of the title picture. So
yeah,
definitely agree to that. I'm looking forward to it. Mania should be good. It's always good to I think they're on a better path to Mania this year than they were last year.
Yeah, rightfully so, right? Because the
Kind of
COVID
crazy.
test.
No legends on the card really at all. Again, well, not really. Again, there's only main like legend, I guess you would say, is Edge.
Yeah, I guess it would be Edge, but he's actually full time to me. Like Goldberg and Cena were on last year, and I guess Lesnar, but they weren't really around
Yeah.
for a while. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of cool. We'll see what happens. Hall of Fame keeps getting inducted. I saw RVD is inducted or going to be inducted,
That's what they're saying.
and then Molly Holly got inducted, which
And
is
Eric Bischoff too.
Bischoff's the big one. And it kind of coincides. It kind of gets tangled up with last year's where the NWO is getting inducted. So
Well, yeah, they kind of should have just put him in there, but I guess it's cool he got his own separate spot
yeah, I wouldn't put Bischoff in. I would put him in separately.
because I mean he created a thing much larger than just the NWO.
Yeah, and then I saw Batista's getting taken off because he can't make that date, but he is going to get inducted on a later show, like a later WrestleMania. And then obviously we have the British Bulldog, and then there's somebody else from last year that I can't think of. But so I'm going to ask you this, and I don't want to hear Owen Hart. I don't want to hear Rick Rude. I'm missing anybody else. I don't know. Who do you think is left that should be in the Hall of Fame from like past years? Because obviously I don't want to hear The Rock. I don't want to hear Taker. Like we know they're going to go in. Give me a name or two.
So, is Yokozuna in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel like he is. I would do the research, but I'm watching our live feed right now. So we'll give that to the IT tech homeboy.
Yeah, he's in there.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah, 2012.
Okay.
So, man, Rock's not going to be for a long time. I can't see Rock being put in until he's president of the United States.
Ooh, I like that call, man. You keep calling it, man.
Dude, he's
Dwayne.
such a smart guy. He's such an influencer. He's the ideal American story. Like I mean, his dad wasn't. I mean, his dad was famous, but he wasn't rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His mom was from a rich family, but she wasn't rich. And then he kind of made it on his own. So that's just something I really like to see. But Rock won't be in there for a long time. Triple H Solo won't be in there for a long time.
Yeah.
Honestly, Vince McMahon's 75 years old. He's obviously not going to be alive forever. He'll probably be alive for at least another 20 years because he's full of probably testosterone.
Yeah, you see that deadlift, baby? That 900 deadlift or whatever it was?
Insane. That's amazing. That's so cool. I was like,
I know.
I showed Sam. I was like, you got to watch this.
That's your idol right there.
He's the genetic jackhammer, dude.
Yeah, you're right, dude. Jack Hammond, dude. 100%.
So I would like to see Vince McMahon put into the Hall of Fame before he dies. Because I know
do you think he'll allow that, though? Like, do you think he will allow that? You think he will want that?
Dude, it's not even like, okay, don't put Vince McMahon in, put Mr. McMahon, the character. Because that defined an era, dude.
Yeah.
Like, even today, if he wanted to come out and be he wanted to be his old heel self, everyone's going to boo him.
Yeah.
He would have the crowd here. He'd be like, I have all of you right here.
Yeah. No, you're right.
So I think he's just the greatest, he's probably the greatest heel of all time.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I feel like that's an obvious one, but at the same time, like, I would have never guessed it. So I like that one. Anybody else you're thinking of?
Let me think. I don't see Orton or Cena being put in anytime soon because I feel like they both have a lot to offer still.
I'll say Orton on the Broken Skull session said he has another 10 years left with him. He's only 40.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Yeah.
For a wrestler. I mean, Jake the Snake Roberts is 65. He's still,
True.
put himself out there. Flair's in his 70s. So is Hogan. Let me think. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just gonna go with McMahon for right now. I just don't know who else is left that's impressive. Christian, but he won't be back anytime soon again either.
Not now.
He kind of burnt that bridge.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like I said, we have the obvious ones. Like, we always feel like China should go in solo, maybe Sable, and then like Rude and Owen Hart. But that Vince one's like it's like an obvious one, like I said, but it's really cool that like nobody really thinks about that, so I like that. And I also think he might get some more popularity because I know he's coming out with a Netflix series too, which is kind of cool.
Who's that? Batista?
No, Vince. He's coming out with a Netflix show. Yeah.
Oh no, they're doing a documentary on him.
No, sorry, Netflix documentary. My bad.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. I'm gonna go with Vader. I think they dropped the ball with Vader. He should have went in when he was alive.
Great.
So that being said, he should definitely go in now. And I'm gonna go Psycho Sid, man.
What do you think?
Huh?
When do you think Taker goes in?
Like, when's the next WrestleMania is at? I forget. Where they go? They go sport.
Right?
No, California's the last one. Does it go Texas next or California then Texas?
I think it's California then Texas.
Whenever they get to Texas. I know what Texas, California, but either one. Whenever they get to Texas.
All I know is whenever it's in Texas, Taker told Joe Rogan, since he's never been to
WrestleMania, he's gonna go there.
Yeah, he said I'll give him tickets. He's like, all right, cool, I'll eat a bunch of ass and go. Sounds like a good time.
He's an idiot. He's an idiot. Wasting all that acid, I guess, for a show that you don't even need to have acid for.
No.
It's your adrenaline's so high for that anyway. But yeah, I'll go. Taker goes in whenever it's in Texas, so within the next 2 years. And I think whenever it goes to California, that's when Batista will go in. And then I mean, part of me does want to think The Rock, but I'm trying to think of somebody else that's kind of like a big name. I think they should wait for Rick Rude whenever they go to Minnesota, if they ever go to Minnesota.
Well, it's a brand new stadium, so I mean, I could see it.
That's what I mean. I thought they'd be going there now, but they didn't. And the other reason why I kind of brought this question up is because I saw Mick Foley, who originally wanted Vader to go in while Vader was alive, because everybody knows like he was sick and he only had like a year and a half to live, so he kind of campaigned. I saw that he was campaigning for Lex Luger to go in, which is kind of cool because like I think it's always cool that your peers try to like not look past the person, but they just look at the resume, if that makes any sense. It's like, all right, yeah, we know Lex Luger didn't love the business. Well, with that being said, you can't look at his resume and say he's not a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of cool that Foley does that like unbiased, critique. And because of that, I do agree with him. I think Lex Luger would and should go in.
And that's like the WWE Hall of Fame's not just for people who loved wrestling. There was a bunch of people who just went there to collect a paycheck. Mm-hmm. And then I think too, Lex Luger himself, he, towards this portion of his life where he's, kind of found himself and mm-hmm. the real person he should be and shouldn't have been. I think he likes wrestling. He goes all these signings and he gives advice. He's a public speaker. He's not the guy like doing a bunch of drugs and everything else he was. I think he came to his
that's heroin. I meant to do steroids.
Yeah.
Steroids, yeah.
But so that's I think Luger's a great candidate. I mean, he's a good wrestler. He's pretty much the second coming of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna definitely get another layer of his wrestling career and possibly his personal life too with that Icons that's coming out. I know Beth Phoenix is coming out on Sunday, so I think Lex will probably be the next one. I know there's 5? There's RVD still, there's Lex, and then is that it?
No, it's British Bulldog too. I thought.
Bulldog, there you go, Bulldog. So, I mean, yeah, maybe these are the segues to get into the Hall of Fame, right? I mean, because British Bulldog got the Icons thing, and he's getting inducted. I mean, he was inducted last year, or at least announced. So he'll get inducted this year. But so maybe that's leaving. RVD's getting in this year. Maybe Lex will be next.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with that. But let us know. If we named a couple of names that should be in the Hall of Fame. We obviously know the obvious ones like a Rick Rude, Owen Hart, Sable, Chyna. But if you have any thoughts on somebody that should be inducted that we really didn't mention, let us know. Or if you guys want to talk about some of the matches that are announced for WrestleMania 37 or builds that you do like or do not like, hit us up. We could always address them on the show. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at PML Show. And like I said, we just like to talk wrestling, so definitely hit us up with that. Again, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at PML Show. And that goes for guests. If you guys want to be a guest on the show, even for a couple minutes, hit us up. You don't have to be a wrestler. You could be a wrestling fan. Ask a couple questions to us. We'll answer them back. We'll get your thoughts on your way. Or if you want to talk for 15 minutes and talk about an actual pay-per-view, hit us up. Then you can be on your way. And then tell your friends about us, and then we build. You're a part of it. It's all one big family, right? PML family right there.
Exactly. And if they want to come on and be on we could have a whole discussion for a whole show too. I mean, it's hard. We can't always provide quality content, so there's always
We try our best, but it's we
do.
try to have some fun with it too.
Yeah, and it's always cool to see someone else's perspective. It's not that we can't provide quality content, because of course we can.
Yeah.
But it's always getting someone else's perspective besides mine and yours, which is different at time to time, but we do agree on a lot of things. And maybe we can get some people on from different generations or different thoughts on the business, and that'd be cool. Or people from the business itself. So
100%.
hit us up.
Yeah, and I was gonna say we do agree on a lot of things. I don't know if it's because we're just such good friends that we don't want to carry over into the.
No, if I didn't agree with you, I'd tell you.
No, I think we do that to be honest with each other. And I will say, I think the things that we really don't agree on are the things that we're gonna cover kind of now. It's the pay-per-views that we kind of go over, because sometimes I think my ideas are out there, and then sometimes your ideas are out that way. But it's cool though, because it's different perspectives, different ideas that, I didn't think of it that way. So we agree with it, but we're also respectful. So that being said, we're going to get into the pay-per-view that we were supposed to cover last week, which was WrestleMania 4. So we've been just doing WrestleManias because obviously it's WrestleMania season. And before we get into WrestleMania 4, so we don't forget, because I know we did one week where we did forget, let's pick one more WrestleMania. Because I don't know, obviously based on when the baby's born, we might not be able to do this week. Coming obviously next Tuesday, but we will have, no matter what, we will have at least one show before WrestleMania 37. So you want to pick one or watch one?
Of course, dude.
You want to agree on one?
I'm gonna throw one out there and let me know if you agree, and if you have something else, we could always change it up.
Do it.
What do you think about WrestleMania 16? Because that was
got me. We're good.
Yeah.
But you can explain if you want to.
I was just saying WrestleMania 16 was a pretty, I mean, just to be frank, it was a pretty shitty card. And but there was a lot of talent there too. So it was just is there too many peas in the pod, kind of a thing. So that's something we can go over. And, we could discuss if we cut down matches from triple threat match to fatal four ways, because the whole card, there wasn't a singles match on the whole card.
There wasn't at all. So that'd be our challenge, right? Which ones would you do? So I agree with that one a lot. I like that a lot. So yeah, so next week we will do WrestleMania 16 if you guys want to watch that in advance. Oh, sorry, it might not be this week. Obviously, we'll let you guys know if you guys follow our Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Obviously, I got some daddy stuff coming up, hopefully. And
we got to get PML onesies made for our kids.
Yo, we should that'd be cool to do. Definitely get some PML onesies, yeah. Or crew members only or something like PML crew members only or something like that. That'd be definitely cool.
Yeah, I like it, dude.
I like that a lot. Get some toddler merchandise, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we know a lot of people are having kids, and a lot of people we already sold shirts to are having kids. So
yeah.
The kids are getting shirts.
We got to branch out now. We got to branch out to the different department. No, so whenever we do the show, the next show, we will definitely cover WrestleMania 16. And I guess just to say that now, obviously stay in tune to our social media in case we do miss next week or the week after. But obviously, if you follow the social media, you guys will be up to date. Steve,
for KP's sake, I really hope she's not pregnant next Tuesday.
I would say for KP's, yes. For her anatomy's sake, I definitely hope that we're missing next week, because that means the baby's here and my fiance is not struggling. By the way, shout out to all the women. This 9-month journey, dude, as a guy just honestly just sitting on the sidelines.
Oh my God.
I knew about it, obviously. I'm very close with every female in my family, so I respect women, you know what I mean? But I mainly for their emotions and perspective and all that kind of stuff. But with my fiance being on this pregnancy journey with her for a physical, I'm gonna appreciation.
Physical's got to be the hardest part.
It's insane, dude.
You could always defeat a mental thing, but physically, I'm like me and Sam have been going for walks every day, and I'm just and she was a track runner, she's quick, and today we're going for a walk, and I'm just why can't in my head I'm why aren't you keeping up? And I'm like, oh Jesus, okay.
Yeah, she got a baby in her stomach. Yeah. It's crazy. So yeah, for like you said, for her sake, yeah, hopefully next week we may miss. So that means the following week we'll do WrestleMania 16. But let's go to WrestleMania 4, man. So the reason why I kind of picked this one is because two things. It's the first 4-hour WrestleMania, which is kind of crazy because that's what WrestleManias became. They became 4 hours. And it's also the first time a tournament kind of sold sold the marketing for the show. So obviously the first year it was T and Hogan. It was like a celebrity, the rock and wrestling thing. WrestleMania 2, the selling point was that it was in 3 cities. Each city had a big main event, so that was kind of cool. WrestleMania 3 was the first actual wrestling match that I think kind of sold WrestleMania, Andre versus Hulk Hogan or Hulk versus Andre. So WrestleMania 4 was a follow-up, and it was a tournament. If you guys followed wrestling back then or did your research, Saturday night's main event, which was huge back in the 80s, they had a little controversial ending with Hogan and Andre, the rematch, the first actual rematch since WrestleMania 3, where Andre won, but there was a referee controversy, so then they had to strip the title, enter 14 people somehow. So instead of having a one-on-one match, let's add 12 more people to it and just do a tournament to become the next, WWF champion at the time. So let's just start off there before we go into the matches.
And let's do this too. You guys all see it on the screen. I don't think we have to go over match by match by match.
No, we don't. No, we definitely don't.
That's what I was saying before we start.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were going to say something. So I was going to say, yeah, there's 14 people on the screen or in the tournament setting on the screen. I'll just go to you, Malloy. Did you like the tournament setting?
Loved it.
Did you really?
It felt like a real wrestling, like a real like high school wrestling, college wrestling. Like, it was a tournament to see who's going to be, world champion. And I really enjoyed that. I thought that was awesome.
Okay. So the thing with the tournament for me, and it's kind of weird because when I show you my rebooking in a couple minutes, when I originally picked WrestleMania 4, it was like I'm shit canning this tournament, and I don't know if it's the issue that I have with the tournament. I think it's just the amount. But as I do my rebook, which I said in a couple minutes I'll show you guys, and Malloy's obviously going to tell you about his, I ended up just keeping the 14, just because I didn't. This is what I'm going to bring up to you as a viewer, right? Let's just say for me, because I think a maybe 4-person tournament, 6 or 8, I would never go more than 8. But if you have other single matches on the card, if I'm a 5 or 6-year-old, which is obviously the demographic that WWE wanted to reach at that time, if there's other singles matches, wouldn't you be confused on is this a tournament match or not?
I was as a 28-year-old viewer. Yeah.
Well, were you sober? Did you watch this sober or?
I watched this for
like
for
3 days.
Week,
Yeah, you
for
told
a
me.
week,
You told
and
me.
it was a mix of everything in between. But
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. But that's I think that's the reason why I did that. I originally was going into this like remaking. I'm like, all right, I'm doing 8 people because there were about, and I think I'm even stretching it with 8, but there was like 6 or 8 people that didn't even need to be in this tournament, right? But then I was thinking, I was like, if I'm a viewer, especially in the audience, I'm sitting there for 4 hours, and I do other singles matches. What the hell? I don't know what matches that could be part of the tournament or not. Because you're thinking of a time where your biggest screen was above the ring.
yeah, I thought
right?
Warrior was in the tournament when I watched it. No, he's not.
No, he's not on it. So yeah, I just want to get your first thoughts on that because that was the main selling point of WrestleMania 4. WrestleMania 4 was at March 27th, 1988, New Jersey, Atlantic City, New Jersey. Can you imagine if that was there now, dude? We'd be driving there in a heartbeat, dude.
Dude, how about I was watching some of this with my dad, and he couldn't believe how young Hogan looked, how young Bob Uecker looked, Trump, and I'm like, Dad, was this really that big in the '80s? He's like, dude, this was huge.
Yeah.
He was saying he wasn't a big fan, but he was a big fan in the '70s with Bruno Sammartino, watching it then.
Yeah.
And then he said he would see the '80s part of it. He's like, it was so different.
It was more entertainment, and you definitely got that. You're talking to a guy like Trump, who even though this is at Boardwalk Hall, they kept calling Trump Plaza. So you're talking to somebody that was all about the entertainment. I mean, he wanted to do Tyson fights there, wrestling pay-per-views there. So he knew the entertainment value of it, and that was a big difference of why a lot of the old timers in the '70s didn't want to do it in the '80s because they thought it would never work. Here you are now, and the reason why WWE is still alive is because of the entertainment value that it provided. You know what I mean? So.
And the cool thing was here in '88, my dad was 28, so it was just dude, if I were you, I would have went.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy, right? So obviously you see the bracket there. The main thing was, you had 12 people in the first round go at it, and then Hogan and Andre got the bye because of their controversial finish. They ended up having a double DQ, so they didn't even advance. but then you end up going to the final two of DiBiase Savage. Pretty much, if you think about it, maybe outside Jake Roberts and Rick Rude, probably the two best workers actually in the company, even though DiBiase's only like 4 months into the company at this point. And then obviously, I know we were huge Bruce Pritchard fans and we listened to his show, Something to Wrestle With. DiBiase was actually supposed to win the title, but then there was a switch because Honky Tonk, who was the IC champion, didn't want to drop it to Savage. So, all right, well, he's not going to be IC champion. We're going to make him the world champion, and then Savage wins it. So, what did you think about – you can talk about anybody in the tournament you want, but I mainly want you to answer at least. What did you think of DiBiase and Savage because they were the two finalists in the tournament?
Honestly, watching it, I think they were the two best for storyline purposes and wrestling purposes. They put on a good match, and DiBiase is an amazing heel.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. I definitely think that Savage stole the show. I mean, they also gave him 4 matches. He had the most on the show, delivered. And then if you guys see at the bottom, there's a blue box, other matches. Bad News Brown won the Battle Royal. We had Warrior defeating Hercules Hernandez. That was like the tournament break. That was after the first round going into the second round. Then I think after the second round going into the third round, you had Honky Tonk Man retaining against Beefcake. And then the semifinals going into the finals, you had Demolition defeating Strike Force. Oh, and there's a 6-man tag in there too. The Islanders beating the British Bulldogs. So I guess I'll go. We'll go first, man. All right, we'll do the rebooking. Let me find this little shindig here, see which one was mine. So, all right, yeah. Again, I really didn't want to keep the 14-person tournament. I think that's way too much. I would have did no more than 8, but again, as a viewer, I had to think if I saw other singles matches, I definitely wouldn't know what match was a part of the tournament or not. So I did keep the 14-person tournament. I have Hogan and Andre in the second round to compete, but I switched up the matchups for a couple. If you guys saw the original bracket, you're probably looking like, oh, these are the same 14 people, but it's actually not. I have Honky Tonk Man in there as the IC champion. I think it'd been kind of a cool little storyline to see if he can gain both titles in a tournament way. I actually haven't beaten Junkyard Dog, who was a part of the Battle Royal, so that's why I have him on the show. I have Roberts Rude. That's the one match that was a double DQ in the first round of the actual show. I think there should have been a winner because that was a really big blow-off. That was actually one of the matches I would have made like a signature match if there wasn't a tournament. But I have Rude winning. I have Beefcake and Valentine being a double DQ because they just split up from being the Dream Team, if you remember that, at WrestleMania 3. So that's the one where you don't get clarity on that one. I got Steamboat, Harley Race, Savage, Bad News. I try to pick the first round all like actual wrestling matches to where they can go like 10 minutes, provide some good quality matches. Going into the second round, you're going to look at probably DiBiase and Honky Tonk and be like, that's two heels. How does that work? I have a good, clever way in my mind to save face of DiBiase advancing and Honky Tonk losing. I would just have DiBiase throw a boatload of cash and be like, hey, you already got a title, man. Let me advance. I want to be the WWF champion. Honky Tonk, as a heel, takes the money, keeps his championship, doesn't lose, so it doesn't lose value to the IC championship, gets the gimmick of the $1 Million Man over more because he just bought his way to the finals or to the to the finals. And I think that's just the way that everybody kind of wins to me. I obviously have Rude going with a bye to go up against Savage in the semifinals. I mean, I think that's a match that could be a WrestleMania match from any of their careers, any point in their careers. Then I kept the finals the same with DiBiase and Savage, and then I got Savage winning because I just think WWE is always a face territory, and that's how it goes. And then other matches I have, I literally just have just multi-person matches. That way, if there's more than one-on-one, it's not a part of the tournament. So that's the way I kind of broke it up. So I have George Steele winning. That's maybe like a swan song because he's a backstage guy anyway. So, hey, your final match is a Battle Royal. You could win. That works. And then I got 8-man tag match, just 2 tag teams on each side. And then I had the tag team title match, Demolition beating Strike Force. Because I think Demolition, they're a heel in the 80s and they're getting cheered over Strike Force. That just shows how cool that they were. So I still have Savage and DiBiase kind of stealing the show. DiBiase because of his gimmick, buying himself into the finals. Savage with his work, winning it. So,
Yeah, I like that, dude. And there's really some good matches. Like you get the rematch of Steamboat versus Savage from the year before.
I forgot to point that out. I made that specifically for that. Yeah.
You get Rude and Savage, which it would also is another great match.
Yep.
And then I like the concept that we have tag matches in between, so we as a viewer can actually understand what's going on.
Yeah. Definitely. You want to go to yours? Well, real quick, I forgot to ask you, what was your Malloy rating of the actual card?
Dude, the actual card was awesome. I would give it a 7, 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was good.
Ooh, okay.
It was super long, but if I watched that back in the 80s, I would have been sleeping in my chair because watching that one shot would have been pretty difficult. But watching it over the course of, a week wasn't too bad.
Okay. Now, I meant to ask you, did you watch this on Peacock or did you watch this
No,
on
I didn't
the
get
network?
Peacock till this weekend.
I just want to make sure, yeah.
Yeah, I watched WrestleMania 17 this weekend, and I was trying to watch it while I was at work. Sorry, Dave. And
dang,
I was just like, wow, I can't watch the network anymore. This sucks. And then I was like, oh, you get all this cool stuff with Peacock, so it's not bad.
That's legit. So that's not too bad. 8.5. That might be your highest Mania card out of all of them. I mean, I think if you were able to re-rank,
I wish they would do another tournament. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, that's something that they haven't done in a while. I mean, even if you think about just the King of the Rings, Corbin was the last one about 3 years ago. So
I wish they would do more tournaments, but wouldn't make it gimmick oriented after it happened.
100% agree with you. Just like they did in the mid '90s of the King of the Ring, like when Austin, Triple H, Ken Shamrock won. None of them were kings after they actually won it. You know what I mean? So
doesn't make sense.
Definitely. So let's go to the Malloy tournament or the Malloy portion of Malloy Mania
tournament.
Yeah,
Malloy Mania. Yeah.
Malloy Mania, baby. You see it in the corner? You see it?
What's that?
You see it? I still cross out the wrestle part. Okay,
it's like crime. It's like crime time.
Yeah.
I like it.
There you go.
So my computer's a little bit behind of the show, but I know the card. I think that I booked for the most part.
I sent it to you, but man, I don't know if you're using your phone.
I'm on my phone, and then I have the show up on Facebook, and it just popped up. Perfect.
There you go, baby.
Pause. So first match I have is JYD winning the 20-man Battle Royal.
Yep.
Because I feel like he didn't really get to accomplish much in WWE. He was just kind of there to be there during like the 80s Revolution. And then the only other non-tournament match I have is a Four Corners Tag Team title match for the tag titles.
I like that.
I have Strike Force versus Demolition versus the Islanders versus the Bulldogs. And I have the Bulldogs winning because I just think they're really cool.
Ooh. That's nice.
I like Matilda. I like Dynamite Kid, Bulldog. Like, they were cool. And, like, I was watching, I was like, man, I would like to hang out with them. And that's why I really have them winning the match. Like, I know Demolition was over, but Bulldog.
They're over like Rover, man.
Yeah. So first match, we got Hogan with the bye, Andre with the bye.
Yep.
It is what it is. DiBiase versus Dino Bravo, an easy match. I think it'd be like a hard fought battle, but DiBiase gets in there. Steamboat versus Valentine, Steamboat getting the victory. Jake the Snake Roberts versus One Man Gang, Roberts getting the victory. Savage versus Rude, that would be a classic, I think.
Yeah.
Especially with Miss Elizabeth being there, he knew going in he could have put Elizabeth on his tights. Whew.
That'd be cool. Yep, that'd be good. That'd be really cool.
And then you got Warrior versus Beefcake, and Warrior, winning against Beefcake. I think it's just a way to get some names and have some really good people in the first round, because I feel like there's a lot of disqualifications and a lot of hokey finishes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with 1, 2, 3 finishing a match.
Oh, 100%.
I have Hogan versus Andre. Let that be the disqualification. It is what it is. That's life, and that's how we get to the main event without, putting down last year's WrestleMania main event match.
I was going to say Hogan was going away, so you had to make him lose in a cheap way, unfortunately.
Yeah. I have DiBiase versus Steamboat. I think this would have been, probably one of the matches of the night.
Yes, match of the night.
And then DiBiase slyly gets the victory. Maybe tries to buy Ricky Steamboat's baby. I don't know.
That's a big ass baby, dude, isn't it?
Yeah.
Baby was like 6 months old, that big. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, it looks like a little gnome.
I know.
Then I got Jake Roberts versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Bigelow's from New Jersey, big pop, and he loses against Roberts. He was just really over then. And then we have Savage versus Warrior.
A young Warrior, too.
And it's a struggle for Savage to get to the victory. Like I like a fighting underdog babyface, and that's what he is in these matches.
Yeah.
He faced Rude, who's a very vile human being. Then he faces Warrior, who's this ginormous powerhouse.
Yeah.
Even though he's not as established as even the Intercontinental champion, he's still a force to be reckoned with.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets the victory there. So DiBiase obviously. And then Savage gets the victory. And in my scheme of things, where this happens, it's not Savage going back and forth with outfit to outfit to outfit. This time he's just out there and he's like, "Come on, brother." And DiBiase comes out and beats him down, and thrown out of the ring. Andre's there. The $1 million people are beating him up, and it's just about over. And there comes Hogan. He hits the elbow, and it's over. And I see, that goes into WrestleMania 5. But I think Savage is I think the most over person besides Hogan at this point in time who could have been champion.
Agreed.
And wrestling logic too. You never want to have a baby or a heel win. I mean, a heel closing out a show of this magnitude, everyone's going to be thrown there, like going nuts, and that's not what you want. You want to make the fans go home happy.
Yeah.
And it was an awesome story. Elizabeth up here, he's got the championship, like he's got the world in his hands, but next year it just crumbles apart.
Yeah. I mean, we both have Savage winning because we both probably liked and appreciated the long-term booking of WrestleMania 5, like you said, with Savage versus Hogan. I like how we both kind of try to make, all right, Savage is going to win this tournament, but he's going to go through like the gauntlet. Like I will say out of us two, I like the way you have him set up. Like we have him in a good match against Rude. Warrior, even though he's young there, you can still see the it factor at WrestleMania 4 of Warrior.
Yeah.
So like that's cool. That's a good setup. And then Robert. So I think, and then DiBiase. So like your 4 matches of Savage are slightly better than mine, just because. I mean, as a heel, Bad News Brown's really good. So maybe the match stylistically would be perfect. But I think you're slightly better than mine because I like your Warrior over Bad News. I just didn't want to do face versus face at that time. So.
Yeah, and at this point in time, too, like, Savage is beaten down. So even if he is getting beat up by an up-and-coming Warrior, it's like, dude, he was just in there with, Rick Rude, who is a monster. Like, he probably cheated a little bit, did some cheap shots, maybe hit him with a chair or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's going against Warrior, who is just a powerhouse. Come running right in.
Definitely. 100%.
Backdrop. It would have been a really cool match to see.
Definitely. And like I said, I like your Malloy rating on the overall card. It is the 80s. Like I remember telling everybody when I picked WrestleMania 4, it might be a little slow because it's the 80s and it's a tournament, but I think the way how they try to get over Savage is great. How they try to get over DiBiase as a heel is great. Incorporation of Andre and Hogan, even though they're not in the main event, they were still a part of the main event. I thought it was really, really cool. So yeah, let us know your thoughts on WrestleMania 4. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at PML Show. You guys could have done the tournaments, or you guys just could have done all singles matches. Let us know because we like to hear all different forms and stuff like that. And again, whenever we do the next show, whether it's this upcoming Tuesday or the following Tuesday before WrestleMania 37, we are going hard with probably the most popular year of wrestling WWE, the WWE brand.
Hardest year with the worst WrestleMania card. One of the worst.
It's definitely one of the worst WrestleMania cards, which is WrestleMania 2000 or WrestleMania 16. It's the same thing. So definitely watch that. Give us your rating on that because we're gonna review that, and Malloy's gonna give us his Malloy rating on that. So that wraps up today's show. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Next time we do our show, we're obviously gonna do WrestleMania 16, the review and the rebooking. We'll probably talk more WrestleMania 37, maybe a little Hall of Fame, maybe a little AEW. We're just walking. I don't know, like subject changers, man. We just wing it. You know what I mean? We're professional wingers. That's what we do. Professional drinkers, professional wingers. That's what it is. You know what I mean? So cheers to that. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. It's the Prime and Low Show. Again, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at PML Show. Our Gmail, if you guys want to reach out to us, if you guys want to guest or anything like that, pmltalkshow@gmail.com. Also, if you guys are liking any of the shows, or if you guys like this show and want to hear more, we are on Lose the Radio, where there are a plethora of other podcasts that Steve produces on, again, Lose the Radio. And if you want to go on that, it is facebook.com/Lose the Radio. So definitely tune into that or look into that if you guys want to. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy the rest of your week. Keep watching WrestleManias. Keep watching March Madness. Hopefully I'm having a baby soon. Boy, I know you're having a baby soon too, but you got like another, 2 months?
Yeah, about 3, but yeah.
3 months? There you go. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Until next week or the next show. Peace.